Absolution. What is it and can it be achieved? The dictionary defines absolution as the formal release of either guilt, obligation, or punishment. The question of can it be achieved is a lot harder to answer. Like most things, there are layers to absolution. The most superficial layer is like when your wife gets back from grocery shopping and you are absolved from the obligation of looking after the kids. Aha, sweet relief. The next layer of absolution is when there is more at stake. A good example is the Central Park Five case. 5 Black and Latino youths, known as the Central Park Five, later the Exonerated Five, were convicted of assaulting a woman and served sentences ranging from 6 to 12 years. All later had their charges vacated, aka absolved, after a prison inmate confessed to the crime. The justice system released or absolved them from guilt, at least in the eyes of the law. So as we can see in the examples, the wife and the law, I know, what's the difference, are the power figures, and they can provide absolution. Before we get to the deepest layer of absolution, we should also inspect who gives absolution to the powerful. For instance, the judge, the jury, the legal system in general failed those 5 men. When the Central Park Five were released, those people who wrongfully put them away must feel guilt. Who can grant them absolution? Who can judge the judge? When there is no straightforward answer, human nature has all kinds of workarounds such as repression, aka denial, to help that judge, those police officers, and that jury. They use tactics like, I was just doing my job to the best of my ability. I used my best judgment given the facts presented. It's crucial to recognize that we all do this. And this now leads us into the last and deepest kind of absolution, the spiritual kind. The hidden truth is we all feel unabsolved guilt. Even the best among us who have done nothing wrong feel existential guilt for simply, well, existing. Subconsciously we feel guilt, feel an obligation, feel punished. Life is an inherent bind. We are humbled and stopped by the majesty of the world, of creation, and our energies are consistently overshadowed. Deep down we seek absolution for life itself. We seek a formal release from the confusion, but the power figure to absolve us is not readily apparent. We must repress our natural guilt, from watching the kids to abiding by the law, to going to work, to loyally trying our best each day. These ways may not continue to cut it. The midlife ways of seeking absolution grow stale as culture passes you by. The problem is that we have earthly cultural heroics, and if our judgment or absolution comes from an earthly source, then it's only a temporary or incomplete absolution. This is why people find religion later in life, which is when it should be found. As Ernest Becker writes in Denial of Death,
the whole thing boils down to this paradox. If you are going to be a hero, then you must give a gift. If you are the average man, you give your heroic gift to the society in which you live, and you give the gift that society specifies in advance. If you are an artist, you fashion a peculiarly personal gift, the justification of your own heroic identity, which means that it is always aimed at least partly over the heads of your fellow men. After all, they can't grant the immortality of your personal soul. As Rank argued in the breathtaking closing chapters of Art and Artist, there is no way for the artist to be at peace with his work or with the society that accepts it. The artist's gift is always to creation itself, to the ultimate meaning of life, to God. We should not be surprised that Rank was brought to exactly the same conclusion as Kierkegaard, that the only way out of human conflict is full renunciation, to give one's life as a gift to the highest powers. Absolution has to come from the absolute beyond. As Kierkegaard, Rank showed that this rule applied to the strongest, most heroic types, not to trembling and empty weaklings. To renounce the world and oneself, to lay the meaning of it to the powers of creation, is the hardest for man to achieve. And so it is fitting this task should fall to the strongest personality type, the one with the strongest ego. The great scientific world-shaker Newton was the same man who always carried the Bible under his arm.
Atheism thinks a partial absolution that's true is better than a total absolution that's false. The religious think any absolution is not worth it unless it's complete, and so they must believe. What do you think? Do you think total absolution is possible through religion? Do you think science alone can absolve man of his existential guilt? Do you think you have existential guilt? Comment below with your thoughts. Also, like and subscribe for more not-so-deep dives into philosophical issues. Thank you for watching.